All right, welcome to Social 5 University. This is Jeremiah Stetler, your host and Chief Content Officer at Social 5. Today we're going to talk about how to build your business with LinkedIn. And thank you to each of you who have made requests for topics such as this one. This has been a much requested webinar topic as people look at ways to build their business using social media, especially if they happen to have a B2B business rather than a B2C business. Facebook, Twitter, great for those types of consumer-centric businesses, but when it comes to forging connections with other businesses, this is a wonderful channel. So diving in, here are the items that we're going to talk about today. Now, during the presentation, if you happen to have any questions, please feel free to drop those in to the dashboard on the right-hand side of your screen. You'll see a questions box that I will be monitoring throughout this webinar. Okay, so as we get started, there are a number of things we'll talk about. First of all, is understanding your LinkedIn audience. It's very different from other social media channels in much the same way that Instagram is very different than Twitter, or LinkedIn is very different from YouTube. There's a different audience that you want to appeal to in LinkedIn. Next is how to get started. Once you create a profile, what do you do? What is the first step? Now building connections. Just as is the case with any networking group, you want to forge connections with people. I've heard it said that LinkedIn is similar to a convention, except instead of wandering around aimlessly, awkwardly trying to approach people uh, about building a relationship, this is networking without the pressure. Okay. Next is how to leverage those connections outside of LinkedIn. So once I have built a relationship, what do I do with that relationship? So jumping in, just want to share this quote with you to start out with. It says, LinkedIn should be, let's see here, I'm having a hard time seeing my screen. LinkedIn should be connecting you to the information, insights, and people to be more effective. Now, this quote has a lot of relevance to what your mission should be on LinkedIn. And you should think about what you're trying to accomplish when you get into LinkedIn as a platform. So it is designed to provide you with insider information, expert information. An example would be I'm a member of the Society of Professional Journalists group. That group discusses topics that are relevant to open government information or on the health and vibrancy of journalism as a profession. Okay, so I expect when I go to that group that I'm going to get information that I wouldn't get otherwise, and I'd be getting it from experts in my industry. Insights, same area, that it's from people with expertise in your industry. And then connecting you to people to be more effective. Maybe you are recruiting employees for your office. Maybe you're recruiting a potential business partner who can help you scale your business. These are all elements that you want to think about when you're diving into LinkedIn as a channel. All right, so let's understand LinkedIn as it compares to other social media channels. So you'll see three of the big ones here: Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. There's a difference. Two of these things are the same. One is different. If I can quote from my kids' Sesame Street days. Facebook is a B2C network. We talked a little bit about that one earlier on. Okay, tends to be a consumer-based audience in the 25 to 54-year-old age demographic. That's the most highly concentrated, even though we are seeing a significant increase in the population 55 and above. It tends to be a pretty even male-female mix, and we're seeing currently about 890 million individuals that log onto Facebook every single day. Pretty staggering in terms of a social channel. Next one is Twitter. Now take a look at Twitter again. B2C channel tends to trend urban, for younger than 49 mostly, but we see a lot of equality in terms of gender, socioeconomic status, but it largely is a B2C network. That's where LinkedIn comes into play. This is a B2B network. It's very much the chamber of commerce, the networking group that you have physically when you're out there in your community. But this one is an online networking group. It has been male dominated. We do see a rising demographic of women in that space as well. So important as you're looking at which channel do you choose for your business, evaluate what you're looking for, what type of business, what type of audience you're trying to reach, and what your purpose is. Is it recruiting new consumers? Is it recruiting employees? All right, so moving on, let's get started. First things first, because this is a basic seminar, want to just give you a start to finish. So first, you need to sign into your LinkedIn profile or create a LinkedIn profile. At linkedin.com, you'll put in your email address and your password. Very simple to start. Once you do, you're going to be brought to this page. This is your LinkedIn profile. There are just a few things just to familiarize yourself with this profile that you'll be using on a day-to-day basis. Now, certainly there are a lot of advanced techniques that we'll be talking about in future webinars here of advertising and company pages and those types of things, but we're going to focus on an individual personal profile, which is a great way to start. So the first place we want to look at is at the top of the screen. You will see a notifications bar. This is where you can see what is happening on your profile on a day-to-day basis. There are three icons on the top that you should be familiar with. The first one that I'm circling with my cursor is your email. Any messages that come in through LinkedIn will show up in that box. Next one is your notifications. This is one of the ones that is kind of intriguing and maybe a little creepy too. You can see who has viewed your profile in the last number of days. Any things that are happening in your world. If people have updated their job titles, if they've updated their expertise, these are areas where that can appear. Next is your connection requests. You can see in this case, I have 212 requests pending. This is where you can go in and just double check and see who's out there that you want to connect with, who you want to become part of your network. Now, on the other side of the screen, you're going to see your news feed. This is very similar to what we see in a Facebook or a Twitter feed. This is where people within your network are posting information that is running live, through your page. When you post content, this is where it will go on other people's news feeds as well, so they can see that, have some exposure to you as they are navigating LinkedIn. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to do is get your profile as robust as possible. You're wanting to sell yourself, make yourself look credible online. This is where people will be vetting you, investigating your business, reviewing your business, if they're wanting to interact with you in some way. This is becoming a social norm when it comes to the business world of, if I am applying for a job, I'm going to connect or view the profile of my potential employer, of my potential employee, of my potential business partner. Okay, so make sure that your profile looks professional, that it's thoughtful, that it's comprehensive. This will help with a number of things. One is, the most important is first impressions. You do want to make sure that when people come to vet you, that they understand who you are and are able to see exactly what you're doing. The next one is searchability, SEO. So this would be, and I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought for just a moment. So this is keywords that you want to be found for online. But honestly, LinkedIn is one of the social channels that has one of the greatest bits of searchability that are out there. If you want to have a profile up there and have it appear when people search for your brand, LinkedIn is probably the best one for that, followed by Facebook. Okay, so from a searchability standpoint, it is fantastic. Okay, next, let's dive into some of the specifics. Now you saw it. I'm gonna jump back real quick on that slide because I want you to see where you want to click. You'll notice here's my LinkedIn profile at the top of the screen. We have buttons on a navigation bar: home, profile, connections, jobs, interests. Okay, so what I did is clicked on profile. You'll see an edit profile button right here, top item down. That's where I clicked to come to this page. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn profile. Think about it as an online resume. Essentially, that's what it is. A resume with a lot of additional bells and whistles that will help you in making a good first impression with your audience. Okay, so a few things. First of all, you have your main profile at the top is going to be the summary of who you are with your photo, as well as previous jobs you've been in, your current job, your education, some of those real basic elements. Okay. Down below, you'll come to a place where you can demonstrate your experience, what your previous occupations have been, other volunteer options where you've been at, and provide a significant amount of information about each of those areas. You can provide your education of where you went to school, what qualifications, what certifications you may have. And then this is kind of a fascinating box you'll see here, skills and endorsements. This is where I can go onto that box and I could say, as my skill, have it be social media. Okay, have that be my skill. What it will do is it'll send it out to my network and say, hey, does Jeremiah Stetler have a skill in social media marketing? And they could say yes or no, and their photo will then appear next to that skill as an endorsement. Okay, so these are great things to get started with your profile, even before you start doing connection building. Now, I did have someone email in a question, thanks Dean, on should we upgrade to the business version of LinkedIn? Okay, and that's a really good question. And there's a benefit to upgrading to the business version if you are engaging in audience building, tracking of potential recruitment. There are some elements there, additional analytics, statistics that you can look at, targeting of connections if we want to target people by a specific job title, by specific industry, geography. There's some things that are valuable there. So I would say once we get into the advanced LinkedIn tutorial in a couple of weeks, we'll go into why having that business profile is valuable. That being said, it's fairly pricey. Okay, so unless you're going to be aggressively advertising or out there doing target recruitment of individuals through LinkedIn, the ROI may not be there above what the free version can provide. Okay, so but we'll talk about that later on. Thank you so much. Good question. All right, so coming into the next, time to build your network. Okay, if you're starting from scratch or if you have a limited number of connections, this is where you want to start in the search bar. You'll see here is where you can search for a person based on their name, your friends, your family, your associates at work. Search by name. So I searched for Katie Drake. You'll see here, and it showed me a number of options of people that I could connect with a little first next to people that would recommend that would be connected into my network. This shows that she was part of my network. We have another, Kate Drake down here at the bottom. That's through a secondary connection. Okay, so what I would do is I would click on Kate Drake, and it would give me the option to connect. Okay, connect with her. As soon as I click on that, it will send her an email saying, "Would you like to connect with Jeremiah?" Okay, and so she'll have the option to connect or not to connect. So great first start, first step to building your network. A little bit of a slower go, but it's great, especially if you're trying to target specific individuals. If you're wanting to target the CEO of a company you're wanting to do business with, or the CMO, or maybe you're looking for the HR director at a place where you're wanting to work. Maybe you're trying to vet a prospective employee. Okay, you would search for them here. The next step is to do it in a little bit more of a mass scale or a bulk scale. This is where you can add connections based on your email address. And you'll see here again the navigation bar, home, profile, connections, jobs, interests. Now I'm going to click on add connections. I'll just highlight that here in yellow for you. And it'll ask me which email client I would like to use. Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, Hotmail, AOL, if anyone still has that. Any of those options where I can pull people from that database and see if they are in LinkedIn. Okay, and you can do all of these if you would like. So, for instance, I started with Gmail. You'll see my Gmail address down there. It pulled up 91 people who were in my Gmail network that I could connect to on LinkedIn. Very cool. Once I clicked on that, I had 30 connections that added to my network within the first hour, and more continue to trickle in during the next 24 to 48 hours. So really valuable tool for building an immediate network, okay, with people who trust you, people who you already have a relationship with. So that's a great first step. Okay. All right, coming over, how to leverage those connections. Now, once you have that network of, let's say it's 50 connections or 100 connections, or maybe you're someone who has 700 connections, okay, give that profile a little time to grow. But here are two things that you should do each week. First of all is accept connection requests as they come in. This is super easy because they'll come in via email. All that you'll have to do, and you'll see a little email here, is simply accept that notification. And now all of a sudden I will connect with her in my network. I'll receive her content. She'll receive mine. I'll receive her contact information. She'll receive mine. Okay. Search for new connections. Now there are some ways that LinkedIn makes this easy. Take a look up at the top of the screen here. You'll see the little icon where you can add connections at the top. This will give me a list of invitations. People have reached out to me asking if they would like to connect. It'll also give me some people that I may know that are based on my relationship, because of my relationship on LinkedIn with Kate Drake. Her network will now be referred to me as a secondary connection that I may be able to engage in. This is a great one, especially if you're looking at connecting with a business or a business partner, of connecting with a CEO or a CMO, and then tying into that network of people that may be relevant to your audience. Already had a question come in of, should I accept connection requests from people I don't know? Really good question. And this one is, I'm going to say it's a little bit up to you. Okay, if you are building a business profile, so if your profile is intended for growing your business, reaching out to potential consumers, which it probably should be in most cases, unless you're doing it as a recruitment-centric tool. You'll want to bring in as many of these connections as possible. Just remember, any connection brings in their contact information. Now, here's the part where you should be a little bit judicious. Okay, if you are a politician who happens to be in a public office, you may want to be a little bit more cautious with who you're connecting with to make sure there is no one from a somewhat unsavory sort of business. And you can check out their profile to make sure that they are who they say they are, or that they are from a business you want to connect with. Another thing you may want to be cautious of is if you worry about, and I'm just thinking about sharing any company secrets or things like that. If you have people coming in from the outside that may be trying to view your profile for competitive reasons. Now, in most cases, I can't see that you would put information on your LinkedIn profile that you would be super concerned about, because really we're trying to grow a business here. We're trying to share information that's relevant to people. We don't want to put insider information about our business in a public network. So in most cases, I would say yes, accept whatever connections come in so you can build your network and use that for building your business. So good question. Just think a little bit about that as you're think about any sensitivities as you're jumping into that realm. Okay, so thank you. Really, really good question. All right, the next step is, now that we have a built-up network of people, make those connections count. And there are a couple ways you can do that. One is posting regularly on your LinkedIn account so that people are familiar with who you are and what you do. You keep yourself top of mind with individuals. But the next one, and perhaps the most important one, is to make those LinkedIn contacts part of your email marketing efforts. For those of you who have attended our email marketing seminars, you'll know that email marketing remains one of the highest conversion channels when it comes to social media. Okay, so super valuable channel if you can build up your connections that way. So here's how you can do that. I mentioned that every time you connect with someone, you receive their contact information. What you will want to do is come to your LinkedIn profile. This should make sense with this is your navigation bar, home profile connections up at the top. Now you're going to click on Keep in Touch, and I'll highlight that here in yellow for you. This is the part that becomes a little less intuitive. It's become more and more difficult as LinkedIn has upgraded its platform, but it still is acceptable. It'll take you to this screen of connections. Now let me highlight the little gear icon there on the right-hand side of your screen. This is what you'll click on, that gear icon, to bring you to this page down below. Okay, on the bottom right-hand side, you're going to see Export LinkedIn Connections. Okay, that'll take all 100 of your connections, 700 of your connections, and export their email addresses to a Excel or CSV file so that you can upload those into your email marketing campaign. Now, if you are currently part of Social 5, we can upload those contacts for you. You'd simply export those contacts in a spreadsheet and send those contacts over to our customer support team. Okay, and we would be happy to take care of that for you. You could send those to our content hotline at content@social5.com, and that will make it to us, and we can upload those for you, or just send those to your customer support team. All right, so that's a great way to start building an email marketing campaign if you don't have any contacts as it is. Okay, so with that, I'm going to open it up for any questions. We've talked about a lot of basic elements about LinkedIn. We'll be diving into some more advanced techniques in a couple weeks where we'll talk about advertising, posting in groups, which is an important one, tracking your analytics. These are all things that are valuable through LinkedIn, especially when we are considering, should we upgrade to a different profile? Should we have a company page? Those are those types of questions. Okay, any questions? Coming over to the right-hand side in the dashboard, you'll see a questions box. I've had a few people who've left, questions there. Feel free to ask you may have. All right, we just had one come in here. Are there a certain number of connections any connections I should be making before I consider advertising? And the answer is no, okay, because advertising really allows you to take your leverage LinkedIn to drive people to your website, to your LinkedIn profile, to a conversion page. Any of those areas you can use for LinkedIn advertising. And most often when you use LinkedIn advertising, you don't want to direct them back to your profile in the first place. You want to direct them to some conversion page, to a white paper, to your website where they can leave their information, to a contact form, any of those types of things. So really, really good question. If you allow LinkedIn to sync to various email addresses, do they send an automated email? Can we control what messages sent out? The answer is yes, it sends out an automated email, and no, there's not an ability to control that. It simply sends out an email that says, so-and-so wants to connect with you. Would you like to connect? And gives them a chance to accept or not to accept. So in that case, the answer is no. We can't customize that email address. When you unlink with someone, who sees this? The only person is you, really. As is the case with Facebook, where if you unfriend someone on Facebook, they don't see that. The same is true on LinkedIn. There's not a notification that goes out that says that you are no longer connected with this person. The only thing is your content would stop appearing on their page. So that would be the only sign that there had been a connection that has been severed. Then a question that came in of just reviewing past webinars, and even to watch this one again if you have questions about how to export connections or whatnot. All of the webinars that we have in place are at s5u.social5.net. So that's our Social 5 University webpage. Again, s5u.social5.net. 5u.social5.net. So you can also click on the email that came out with the invitation to this webinar. You can click on the little black W button. It's a WordPress button there on the bottom of the screen, and it will take you to our Social 5 University webpage. I'll also be sending out an email early next week with links to this video as well. All right. A question of what if someone does not accept a connection invitation? Do I get penalized? The answer is no. You can send out a broad number of connection requests. They can accept or not accept. It really stands with their own free will if that's the case. But there's not a penalty to your business to actively and proactively connect with individuals. All right, great. Thank you so much for the questions that came in. For those of you who will be sticking with us for our advanced seminar at 11 o'clock, we'll be talking about a new SEO technology called S5 Rank that's designed to boost traffic. Really kind of a cool technology. Otherwise, look forward to a recording of this webinar coming up early next week. All right, thanks for joining us today. Take care. Bye-bye.